Good morning, everyone. This is a recording of Lab 13. That's Project 13 in for Access. Please download the Fontenelle database, Fontenelle 13, and start with the exercise. So when you open it, you should enable content. And these are like the tables and the queries that we have been working on from last time. They ask you to open the professor's table. So just like double clicking on the table will show that you have 15 records in there and that you have 7 attributes in that table. You have, for every professor, you have an ID, a first name, a last name, a professor title, whether they are assistant, associate, professor, and the department they belong to, and the salary that they receive. So we want now to create a report based on that table. So I'm going to close the professor table, and I remember that we said anytime we want to create something, we will go to the Create tab, and we will click on report on the report category here. And the easiest way to create a report is to go with Report Wizard. So we'll go with the Report Wizard, and we will choose the fields that we want to appear inside of our report. So now one thing is, if you hit the first select button, it will select just that field, and to deselect it you just click on that arrow pointing to the left. So if I point to if I highlight a field and I point to the right, it will choose that field to be part of my report. If I don't want it, then I will deselect. If I want all of the fields, I can in one click get them all into the report. So we want the professor last name and the professor first name. So take last name first. So now I can also get the report to change the order of the fields. So in the table you have the first name and then the last name, but in the report you want the last name first and then the first name. Okay. Now it's asking you how do you want the information sorted, and you can sort first by last name and then sort by first name. So I'm going to click next, and now it's asking me how do you want the format of the report, how do you want the layout for the report. You can be columnar or tabular or justified. I'm going to leave it as justified, and I will have the title of the report professors. Now I'm going to go back and see because in the book it says that you can actually group by department. Okay, we were supposed actually to choose all of the fields. I'm sorry about that. So So it asks you how do you want to group it, and we want to group it by department. So I want, for example, the accounting department to appear to have all of its faculty listed underneath the department title. And now I'm gonna sort by last name and then by first name. So now I want a stepped layout. And I want the report to be professors by department. And here is my report. For accounting, I have three professors, Almond, Foxhaven, and Lakeland. Business has Garland, Kelsey, and Garland Lucas. CIS has Forrest Quinn and Carla Zimmerman. Economics has Bradley Daniels and Harvey Ringhold. So you see that the report is structured or grouped by department. So now I can go and look and see that I have a footer. It has the date, it has the number of pages in there. Let's say we want to change something about the layout of that report. Yeah, we have used the wizard, but is there a way that I can change the layout? And the answer, of course, is yes. So I'm going to close the print preview. And now I can see that I can change the layout of the report. You need to be in layout view, not in design view. So even though it looks as if you are in the actual, in the report view, but in the layout view, you get to change the actual layout of the report. So instead of professor last name, I just want it to be last name. So I'm going to take out the word prof. Same thing for professor first name. The title. Okay, so now we have everything as required. So I'm going to save and close that report, or actually it asks you to now go into the design view of the report. In the design view, you have more control over how the report looks like. So I can change, for example, the properties of the sheet. I can change the groupings and sort. And we need to look at these two. So when we click on the group and sort, you see that it says group on department. with A on top, which means it is in ascending order, and then sort by professor last name, followed by professor first name. Now the property sheet is right here, but you can if you can't see it, you can always right click and choose properties, and that will display the sheet on the right. So now you can see how what are the selections or options for that particular report. So this is actually the header. The properties that is being shown right now is the header, is the report header, because it says the caption is professors by department, and actually department is misspelled. So I'm going to change it here. And that as soon as I click outside, then you see that the caption has changed right here. So if I click inside of the page header, now the properties change. The properties change, and actually it's just highlighting that particular field or that particular page header title. So remember that the property sheet shows whatever you have are highlighting in the design sheet. So let's make changes now to the group footer section. So I'm going to click on more here. And without a header section, I'm going to choose with without a footer section with a footer section. So we'll set a footer section in there. So if we want to add a subtotal of all of the salaries for the professors for a particular department, so I'm going to click on the text box, and here is the text box right here. And then we want to click now in the department footer section. And to the right, we will add that that text box. So instead of text 13, we want to the label to say salary subtotal. Now we want to sum the salary, so instead of it being unbound, unbound means that it is not tied to anything. It's not tied to a particular field. So I'm going to click inside of it and I'm going to put an expression. And if you remember from Excel, I can use the function sum to sum a particular field. So I want to sum salary. And we have to put salary between brackets. So there is square brackets around salary and then a parenthesis around sum. So let's see, let's run the report, let's view the report now and see. See now, I have a subtotal for the salaries for all of the professors right there. I'm going to make it a currency. So see now, I have 2 decimal places after the decimal point and a $sign. So going back to the design view, actually they were asking you to make sure that the right edge of the report is at the 8-inch mark, and it's actually at that right there, so you don't need to make changes if you see it where it is. So I may want to just move the salary right underneath the salary here. So and then run the report and see. So okay, now it's much better to have the total right underneath the salaries than to have it to the left of it. That's exactly what the view that they want you to have on page 313. If I want to remove the decimal places, I'm going to go to, again, the layout view, and I'm going to click on that value over here, and instead of the decimal places being auto, I'm going to put 0. So now you don't have that decimal places in there. So we can set it as a currency and also as a 0. Same thing for the salary subtotal. We've already set it as a currency, but again, we want to remove the decimal places, and that makes the report looks much better. Now, if we want to add a grand total for the whole report, so I have totals. Look at the view. I have totals for each of the departments, but I don't have a total for the whole college, for example. If I want a grand total for the whole college, I need to add that as in the report footer section, which means it is for the whole report. So going back to the design view, I have a report footer section. And again, I'm going to add a text box and put it right here. Change the text 15 this time to salary grand total. And instead of the unbound again, we will sum salary. So because this is put in the report footer, it will actually sum all of the salaries. It's not by grouping. When we put under the sum salary, the expression under department footer, Access knows to sum for just the department. But if you put the same expression under the report footer, it will sum for the whole report. Remember, parentheses for the sum, which is the function, and then the actual field between angle brackets. Now let's see, and I go down and I have a grand total, salary grand total for the whole report. Again, we will need to change the format of that grand total. I'm going to choose it as a currency. And I will make the decimal places 0. Now we want to add our name to the report footer also. So I'm going to go back to the design view. I'm going to add a label to the left. And the label for that would be created by. And I'm going to put my name under the unbound. we'll make sure that we change the color to automatic, which is the blue. Like we want a light blue shade. So now I'm gonna check, and it says here, okay, why didn't it show? It was actually I forgot. It's this particular this particular field was supposed to be bound to a particular, that label is bound to a particular field, and there is no field in the database that has my name, so I'm gonna actually delete the whole thing. And in here I will actually increase the label to try and make it small. It doesn't allow you to actually delete it. So here is my report, and it says created by Karma Sharif. Now, if I want to export it to a PDF file, if I want to create a PDF file of that report, I'm gonna go to the print view, and you have an option of actually exporting to PDF. So you need to click on that, and then name your report. So professors by department, I'm going to save it in my 304 folder and click publish, and it actually saved the report in PDF format. Okay, so you just like want to make sure that everything is in one page. Okay, they want you now to go to a report, student enrollments report. And you can see that you have the classes that a particular student is registered for, the department that these classes are offered, the sections, a description of the course or the class, how many credit hours it is, the day that they are meeting, the time, and the professor that's assigned to that particular course. And now you want to go into the design view. And these are like the different things that you can do. You can either select, you can add a text box, you can add just a label, you can add a button, you can add a tab control, a hyperlink, an option group, insert a page break, a combo box, a chart, a line, and they ask you to actually click on the line control. And they want you to add that line in the student ID footer. So here is the student ID footer, and they want us to hold the shift key and then draw a line right above the cell in there. So let's view. So now you have a line right above the total for the number of credit hours that a particular student is registered for. Again, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. See here, you can't see, you look at M and cred and you don't know, but looking actually at the control source, it says some credits for each student. Look here, here is the expression. Now let's add a logo to our report. So we know that going into the design view, one of the okay, which one it is? This box. Yeah, here it is, I'm sorry. Okay, we want to click on a logo and we will choose that apple image and we'll put it right beside enrollment. It's actually automatically inserted in there. I don't know how that command came in. Okay, so now I have that image that I'm going to move to the right. So now we want like to add a label with your name to the report header. So right there I'm gonna add not a text box this time, we're just like adding a label, and I'm gonna put my name and let's see how it will look like. So I have now the image added and I have my name on the right, and I added that line in there. So that's all for the lab, for lab 13.